Hey guys, welcome to this next section of what Apple announced today at the October event. So I'm going to go on to the iPad Pro now and tell you some detailed things on what they told us at today's event. So first off is just talk with some stats about the iPad in general. They have now sold over 400 million iPads, which are active iPads in use, so not counting the ones that's in a drawer and not been used in a while. Over the last year, they have sold more iPads compared to all the amount of notebooks by all manufacturers have sold in the year, which is a lot. So you can probably imagine that out of that 400 million, a substantial amount of that has probably been sold in the last year. This has probably been down to the fact that they brought up the iPad Pro last year with the 10.5 and the 12.9 inch, and I think that has really kick-started Apple's era into the iPad becoming a computer, which Apple have started referring to in this event. They were calling it a portable computer just so they could compare it to all these other manufacturers that's out there. So now we can move on to the actual specs of the iPad. There's this new design for the 11 inch now instead of a 10.5, and the 12.9 inch still remains. There's now no home button, the screen has been pushed out with no longer a bezel edge on the back. It now has flat edges on the sides and tops and bottom of the iPad. They have the new CPU, which is the A12X Bionic, which I will go into a bit more detail now. I'm going to quickly go over some of the features and what they said, then I'm going to expand on them later on in the video. A lot went on, guys, so I do have some notes in front of me, so if I am looking down, I apologise that I'm not keeping direct sight of yourselves. So there's the CPU, the weight, the storage capacities, the battery, the sizes, the new display, Face ID, USB-C, which was very popular. The audience kind of really cheered that one on. It's a nice move by Apple. It's a move that some people thought that they wouldn't really make because of the lightning and their standard of connections. The speakers have had improvements. The model is now thinner. Again, I will go into these a bit more detailed after I've quickly told you briefly what they've said. They've got the new gestures on it, which are similar to the iPhone 10, 10s and the 10R. AR improvements, magnets inside the iPad, and of course the colours and the display hertz frequency. So first off, let's go straight into that CPU, the A12X Bionic. This is a big leap over what the previous generation iPad Pros were from the 2017 models, and it's also more powerful than the new iPhone 10 and iPhone 10s and 10s Max and the XR, as they have the A12 Bionic in it. This is the A12X Bionic CPU. It has 8 cores. It is 35% faster than the previous iPad Pro in single core. It is 90% faster in the multi-core. So how you can make something 90% faster is sort of remarkable. It's almost like completely re-engineering that chip compared to last year's A11X, I believe is what is in the iPads, or maybe the A10X. I can't exactly remember this because it's been long overdue, these iPads, to have this sort of substantial CPU. Then we can go on to the fact that they now have a 7nm chip inside, which is the first for any sort of portable computer. The iPhone 10s, the 10s Max and the 10R all have the 7nm chip. So they've really now brought this, no desktop or no laptop has taken this leap into a 7nm chip. So the iPad is the first for this. It has 10 billion transistors. It's 92% faster than the portable computers which are on sale today, which is again mind-blowing now, the fact that they can beat these kind of desktop or laptop performance PCs in a tablet form, which is very, very great achievement by Apple. And I'm sure you guys have always loved the power capabilities of your iPad or your iPhone. As you know, they are one of the most remarkable and the most sophisticated devices out there. I know Android have sort of better CPU names, but there's nothing that beats Apple with the way their hardware works with their software. It just knocks the socks off everything else. It can do 5 trillion operations per second with this CPU. It's got the new neural engine. It has a T2 chip for security to bring that security to the iPad, because obviously it has the Face ID. It's because the home button's gone now, so that T2 chip is now handling all the processing capabilities and keeping your data secure. It with this new T2 chip as well is always on, so the ability to say hey Siri has been improved, and so on forth. That's the neural engine, guys, which is the same neural engine which they've just brought into the iPhone XS's. Let's move on to the GPU now. Now the GPU is a 7-core, and now this number is going to blow you away. It's 1,000% faster than the previous version of the iPad Pro. It now brings living room game console graphics to a tablet. It's depending on the game and the game developer and how they use this kind of power. It is capable of doing 120 frames per second during gaming. They didn't show off a game at the event which is using this 120 frames per second, but 2K games did show that they can render up to 60 frames per second with a lot of new shadowing, sweat coming off the basketball players and things like that. In every person in the crowd was individually rendered and acting in real time. The gestures of the basketball players are all unique. There's countless amounts of motions or decisions they can make with this processing power, and obviously with lighting like ambient fog or things like that is just now next to well, I say next to, they compared it to the Xbox One, and it says it lives up to the standards of an Xbox One in gaming. Let's go on to the design now. They have a nice sort of flat edge now because they made the bezels smaller on the side, making these screens bigger. So the 10.5 went to a 11-inch and the 12.9 remained the same. Now form factor wise, it's pretty phenomenal. There is 25% less volume on the 12.9 inch, so it's around about now the size of an A4 piece of paper. It weighs approximately £1, just over 1.25 pounds. The display is a liquid retina display now with an LCD. The resolution of this display is 2388 by 1668. So that's 264 pixels per inch. The USB-C connector, which is what they brought to the iPad now, has a lot of capabilities. They have now allowed the USB-C connector to output to a 5K display, so the fact that your iPad now can process and render onto a display which is 5K is out of this world. So when it comes down to you editing them videos or doing Photoshop on your iPad, you can now have it up on a 5K display and be crystal clear. The thickness of it is a lot thinner now. It's 5.9 millimeters, which is 15% thinner, and like I said just now, guys, that's 25% less volume overall the iPad. Let's take a look down here now. You can connect to a 5K display, and while it's connected to a 5K display, you can also add an additional peripheral. So you can connect your camera to this device as well at the same time. It's only got the one port, so it goes from your iPad to a display, and then there's secondary USB connections on your monitor, so we can power that. We can then move on. Oh, also with the USB-C, what they've called it is charge out from the iPad. So you can plug in the USB-C cable to the bottom of the iPad and then plug the lightning end into your iPhone, and it would charge your iPhone directly from the iPad. They've also brought a second generation Apple Pencil, which comes with a couple of new features. It is now wirelessly charged with magnets placed inside the iPad. It just attaches to the side. I believe there's 102 magnets overall. It's used for like the smart case, the smart keyboard, and the Apple Pencil, and this comes all together in order for it to snap the pencil onto the side with magnets, and it will automatically charge the Apple Pencil. So there's no more lightning port at the top where you're plugging it into your iPad and there's this big long pencil hanging out the side of your iPad and the risk of snapping that lightning port off the pencil. All that is gone now. There's a double tap feature on the Apple Pencil which allows you to switch between pens or erasers, or if you're currently using a pen tool, you can double tap it and it'll switch to your eraser, and if you double tap again it would take you back to the pencil. Now, depending on the app developer as well, they can customize this function to do what they see fit or what best fits and suits their app. I believe there's nothing new in the tip in the pencil. They didn't say anything, so the design is the same. There's no new colours. It's still this white Apple Pencil they still have. Moving on to the camera, it's capable of the Smart HDR for photos. The true depth camera at the front of the device is now at 1080p at 30 and 60 frames per second. The front camera is also capable of the Smart HDR. Storage, let's dive into storage. One of these is just phenomenal how they've got this amount of storage into such a small form factor. So they do a 64, a 256, a 512, obviously I'm talking gigabytes here guys, a 512 and a 1 terabyte model, which is massive amount of storage. I've struggled to fill 256 gigabytes, so what you're going to do with a 1 terabyte I don't really know, but Apple have obviously felt it is necessary to bring a 1 terabyte storage to the iPad Pro. The speakers in it, now in each speaker in each corner there's 4 subwoofers integrated into each speaker in each corner. There's now full wide stereo sound. And again guys, don't forget this is an all-in device which just weighs over £1, so this is phenomenal. The actual size of the iPad Pro 12.9 inches shrunk, so like I said, it's around about an A4 size, so it's a lot more comfortable holding your hand. So I want to imagine with them flat edges now on the design of the new iPad, it will be super comfy to hold. I've got an image up behind me guys, I don't know if you can see it, but at the end of this video I will show a montage of some photos of the event showing you off the design of the iPad, so stay tuned to the end to see that. That's pretty much it guys. There's a lot of it is to do with like processing power with this new 8-core CPU, 7-core GPU, the new neural engine, the maximum storage of 1 terabyte. Battery life is still the same all-day battery of 10 hours. The display is now that liquid retina display, and I have mentioned a lot about Face ID, but Face ID on the iPad works anyway. So they turned the iPad in all 4 ways. So the Face ID cameras at the top, at the side, and at the bottom, and left and right, and Face ID unlocked the device no matter which orientation it was. So it's the fact that Face ID, no one says on the left and right, usability for this, because obviously you're holding the iPad, I don't know how natural or it will become for you to be slightly covering that camera with your palm or with a finger. So I think the easiest and most suitable way to be using this Face ID is in portrait, so the camera isn't obscured by your hand or your finger. So guys, that's the news on the iPad Pro 2018. again, with this all new design, the new CPU, the new GPU, the new storage, the new size of the 11-inch instead of the 10.5, the new LCD liquid retina display, the USB-C connection with a 5K output and extra peripheral devices connected, the thickness of this with a new just 5.9mm, the gestures, obviously because the home button is now gone, it's got the gestures of the iPhone 10, so swiping up to unlock and the swiping across to switch between apps and the swiping up to get back to the home screen is now all integrated to this new iPad. The colours, they still got the space grey and the silver. There was no gold, rose gold colour or whatever Apple call them. They've sort of done different colours. The watch Series 4 is gold, then they got the rose gold iPhone, the champagne gold. They sort of got a lot of variations of this gold colour, but that didn't come to the iPad. It's still just the silver and the space grey. And like I said, with the core's 35% faster in single core, 90% faster in the multi-core, 7nm chip, 10 billion transistors, 92% faster than portable computers that's been sold today, 15% thinner, 25% less volume of the device, the resolution of 2388 by 1668 with 264 pixels per inch, which is why they're still calling it the Retina. They didn't move to an OLED, they still got the LCD, but obviously that would really hinder the price and whether people would be able to afford them. So while we're talking about price, guys, the 11-inch in the UK is £769 and $799 in the US. The 12.9 is £969 and $999 in the US. I believe their prices for the 64, the lower end storage, I'm not sure on the price of the 1TB yet. I haven't managed to have a look because I just wanted to get this video out to you guys, but I don't think the price range is really important variant, and I think most people will go for that 64 or maybe the 256. They go on sale today and they will be released next week on the 7th of November. So today is pre-orders, 30th of October, and it'll be released, and hopefully if you're lucky enough, if they're not selling really quick, you will get it on launch date. So thanks very much, guys. That's an overview of the new iPad Pro. Coming up now is a video and images of the new designs and the new chips and the Apple Pencil and things like that, which they have announced all around this iPad. I'm going to move on quickly now to apps. There's now over 1 million apps dedicated to the iPad, iPad Pro and all the other iPad lineups. Adobe have brought real Photoshop, so it's desktop class performance from Photoshop. They showed off a brilliant feature or a new bit of software called Project Arrow, which basically is sort of like an AR thing. Once you've created your image in Photoshop with all multiple layers, you can bring it up in AR mode and it will separate these layers, and you can sort of look at it in a sort of a 3D environment, get up close and see in between the layers as you're viewing it. They were demonstrating, Adobe came out and demonstrated this Project Arrow, and they showed off the iPad processing 157 layers in Photoshop, and it processing in real time. Zooming in and out is absolutely smooth, and again with this Apple Pencil feature of the double tap, Adobe showed off that they customized the Apple Pencil, so when you double tapped on the bottom of the pencil, it would zoom into the image to where you were zoomed in, and if you double tap, it would zoom back out, so you get this quick, neat way of quickly getting back and forth. So thank you for listening, guys. That's the new iPad Pro. Here's a little montage of the video. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, and hit that notification bell so you can get more information on the latest Apple products. I've got 1 or 2 more videos to make and upload for you guys. There's going to be one on the Mac Mini specs, the MacBook Air specs, and I may do a little one just showing off the Apple Pencil, but I've more or less covered that in this video. So guys, please subscribe, leave your comments what you think about this video. If you think I've left anything out, let me know and I'll add it into the other videos. So thank you very much, guys. Peace.